Hello, everybody, and welcome back to Hardcore Heroes Otherside. So, everyone is back together. People have done their studying, their conversation, their spells, and you have all gathered in the top room of the pyramid to discuss what the hell is going on.
Yeah.
Yeah.
By now, Nick has noticed the pile of bodies, naked and oiled.
Including Kyne's body, naked and oiled,
Yeah.
stacked with all these other corpses in the top of the pyramid.
Does Malachi tell Van about the fight with Lord Seth?
No.
Okay.
Don't tattle to Van Helsing.
What's with all the bodies, Van? Are you planning to eat these people?
No, the oil of timelessness that we found, Malachi. I used it
Why?
on the hope that it will preserve them. I'd be able to raise them from the dead longer than the normal time limit.
Well, I don't know if you know how much I tolerated Kind, but
You would animate your friend as a
No,
a
truly
zombie?
raised from the dead. Bring him back to life.
blasphemy.
It's
You have this power?
technically, but
I thought I
Look,
read
we-
somewhere that this miracle hadn't been performed in 1500 years.
you're right. And I started wondering. I'm quite an accomplished cleric at this point, but there's surely others, particularly from other orders, who can rival or even exceed my own power. So then why has there not been a successful resurrection in so long?
Because most
We've-
priests spend their time making good berries and
If you had the power to
giving
bring back
holy
a friend from the
baths.
dead, would you have done it? If you could
Here-
truly bring a friend who has died back to life, would you do it?
I'm not sure.
I think you begin to see tears welling up in Georg's eyes.
Yeah, I think
Can,
Van just
can
kind of
stone cry?
Stones can cry.
yeah, Van kind of softens up a little bit and says, I'm sorry, perhaps I was too forward. I just mean
It's
I think there might be more to it than simply learning the spell. I tried
Does
asking my deity about it, but she pointedly responded with silence. I dare not risk such an endeavor right now.
Have you reached out to other gods? Perhaps not everything in this universe is beautiful.
I would never stray from the light of Cheese. However, I have attempted to see if I could contact the others. All of them, mostly Malchus's children. I wanted to know if any of them could be contacted from this plane.
Well, I can guarantee that Malchus is listening.
Malchus himself was the only one I could reach. But
Yeah.
he's
spoke-
not
you
he's not
spoke
somebody
to
any of us
the-
should trust.
You spoke to the Lord of Chaos?
He's some sort of monster, Georg.
He's not very fond of you, Van. I'll tell you that. He tried to convince me to leave you here to rot.
Truthfully, I don't think he's a friend of any of us. If you two have been having trouble with the monsters in this world, and if I'm right that this is his domain, I don't think he cares much about you either.
Well, Georg says that this is the plane of shadow, and it's been in existence far before Malchus brought you here.
Oh no, I think this might be his domain, though. If he's the only deity who can be reached from this place, perhaps this is his home.
Well, is that right, Georg? That doesn't sound right. Shouldn't Malchus live on the celestial plane?
Throughout most of recorded history.
But we
That's-
don't know anything of the
that's the
celestial
theory.
planes. A theory is that each of the gods has their own plane to call home.
Well, if anyone should know, it's this guy right here.
We
So
only
what is
know
it?
so much. The celestial plane is still a mystery to us in many ways.
What I'm saying is, though, I feel like Malchus, if he's here, he's not always been here. He's found a way here, right?
Perhaps.
And he's found a way to the prime material plane. And I'm pretty sure that there's some sort of.
Is he on the prime materia plane or is he here? In
Neal,
the shadows?
is this thumping in the background just like background music, or is there something thumping in here?
There's nothing thumping. That's tension
Okay.
building.
Okay. Just want to make sure.
Well, look, that place, Georg, you remember it, where we up the ridge in the Shadow Mountains.
Yes, but that was just 2 days ago. Are you losing
No, I
your
mean,
memory? Are you losing your memory, old man?
I mean, before we came through the portal.
Before we
had
came
that.
through the portal, we were in Shirebrook.
Yes, and then before that, when we trekked up to find the smoke
Oh,
weapons.
the Shadow Valley. Yes.
Yes, the Shadow Valley. So that place, I mean, it kind of looked similar to this, right? The shadows didn't make any sense. Twilight.
There is something there. I suspected it was another rift. Perhaps another portal to this place.
But what if Malchus came from here to the prime material plane through there.
Seems a little careless of a god to leave a giant gaping wound in the fabric of space and time
I mean,
behind
if
him.
any god would be so careless, perhaps the god of chaos would be. However,
Yes, he has. Yeah.
it's rather bountiful that 2 wizards have appeared. There's a certain object of interest at the base of this place that I'd very interested in discussing with you two. I actually memorized quite a few spells to investigate this artifact myself.
What is it?
Some sort of mirror. Come, let me show you. And Van's gonna lead them
Leads
outside.
you down hundreds
While
of
we're-
feet below the desert.
While we're going, I'm gonna kind of brief them on the general situation, that people are starving, getting really antsy. Some of them are starting to worship these things, but that it's an extremely dangerous thing to do. These creatures are clearly evil,
Well, is there
and they're
no way
also
for you to
patient.
exercise them?
Perhaps, but I dare not do it now. If I exorcise those ghosts from those people, they'll likely starve. It'll only make our food
Well-
problem that's already bad even worse.
I may be able
Have you
to
ex-
provide
have
some
you
food.
Have you exercised the one inside of yourself?
Not yet, but I might do it now. We'll see what happens.
You remember my spell to summon monsters, not the
Yes.
shadow monsters, but the more traditional type.
Right, so
goblins.
you made some sort of, what were they, bats?
Yeah, bats,
Ugh.
goblins. It's random, but couldn't we eat them?
I suppose.
I
I
don't know
mean,
if it'd work.
can you summon monsters from the prime material plane on this plane?
I don't know. I don't know how it works, but we could try it out tomorrow or
Sure.
whatever.
Well,
Next time we
and-
sleep.
in answer to your question, I mean, you got here somehow, didn't you?
I don't know the means.
Yeah,
Did-
but that's. I mean,
Is it possible that some demon or Malchus himself, if you will, summoned you here?
Neal, I've actually been meaning to ask. Those spirits that have been possessing people, sometimes they can take like physical form, right? And
What do
you
you
mentioned
mean?
that it was kind of like the ghosts. If you hit them, they turn into like physical creatures, like big monsters.
There were a couple of moments when you
Yeah.
wounded one of them and they changed shape. Yeah.
Yeah. So with those, did they look demonic? Because you mentioned like plates, like they were plated creatures.
Yeah.
They kind of looked like because I probably know what demons look like from my my religious background. I know ancient history, I know religion, and I probably spent a lot of time up in the copying scrolls over to other scrolls. And I probably like have general depictions, drawings of demons. Do they look similar to that?
Yeah. Yeah. Now that you're putting it together, they're definitely fairly. I mean, they don't look like any demon you've ever actually seen drawn specifically, but
Yeah.
there's a lot of crossover there. They could easily
Yeah.
be some sort of demon.
Like there's traits that carry over between the two.
Yeah, these broad muscular bodies, these bony plates, these horns.
They have horns. Oh yeah. Okay.
so what's the deal with demons then? Where do they come from?
Fuck if you know.
Do you know?
voice this question out loud?
Yeah.
The demons. Well, it's ill-defined word, a catch-all, but they were made in the same way as you or I, by the gods. Most of what you call demons are their beta testing, their
Where
early
are
attempts at creating life.
they? I don't know what you mean. Like, there's not like there's millions of demons running around.
Aren't there? Not on the prime materia plane, thank God.
Well, where are they?
I think you found one of their favorite play places.
What do you mean beta testing?
Sorry, it's a bit of jargon from my
No,
days at the Wizarding Academy. Not something you'd know anything about.
By the
it's
way, Georg,
early attempts at a yes, yeah.
I'd like to apologize for being so forward earlier, and I think this might be the best way I know how. I don't know your reasons for coming here, whether it's to help Malachi or some own interest of yours, but either way, you're here to help us, and for that, I'm truly grateful. And Van kind of like reaches out a hand to shake yours.
Pause, looking at the extended hand for a second, and taking it back.
I
and
stop as well.
I shake Van Helsing's hand.
All right.
It is a pleasure to meet you, Van Helsing. And give a bit of a nod or a bow.
Van
a
kind of like
curtsy. I
gives
don't
a
know
quick bow back and says, "I've heard much about you, but rumors interest me little." I must say, this is quite a good first impression to make, Georg. And Van just kind of gives you a quick...
A voice
continues
from
walking.
behind you guys up the staircase says, "It's a pleasure to meet you too, Lord Georg." And you guys see that Jeeves has been following behind you this whole time.
I'll let him
Jeeves,
catch
get
up.
up here. I think you and Georg will be fast friends.
This is my.
Gives a slow and steady bow to Georg. Jeeves is like 80-year-old man, wrinkly all over. He's really scrawny and emaciated now. He's got long flowing hair. He's scraggly, like he hasn't shaved in a month or so, but like his hair's not coming in perfectly all over the place. He's got maybe sad, lonely eyes.
Don't we all these days?
Yeah.
Georg, this is Jeeves. He's like he's like a father to me.
Oh, that warms my old heart, Lord Malachi.
Don't get all soppy, Jeeves.
Sorry, my lord.
Well then, Master Jeeves, it is a pleasure to make your acquaintance.
Do you have anything I could carry for you?
A great many things, but I've got it for now. Thank you.
As
Thank
Jeeves
you,
says,
sir.
like carrying this big 80-pound chest that he's been carrying the whole journey.
Oh Lord. As
But Georg, what were you saying about the gods testing or their first? What?
well, it's generally accepted that the gods create life. That's
Yes.
where this all came from. Well, they
Okay,
didn't get
yeah.
it. Not everyone's perfect.
Sure.
Didn't get it right the first time.
Mm-hmm.
What do you mean the first time?
Or perhaps the second. Some theologians conjecture.
I wouldn't worry too much about it, Malachi. Their origin is perhaps
what
not
do
the
you-
most prudent information.
But what are you getting at, though? Because
This
There's no
place could be a
failed-
failed creation of the gods. Either way, let's look at this mirror.
You guys get down to the super sub basement. It's hundreds of feet below the desert floor.
Is it like the
And-
top? Is it basically like the opposite of the top level of the pyramid? It's like
Yes,
the
it
bottom
is.
level. Okay.
Yes, it is. And you come into this room. It's maybe 15 by 15 square. There's absolutely nothing in here except for this maybe 6 or 7 foot tall ovular mirror-like portal, like one of those carnival mirrors where it's all distorted and you can like see yourself, but you're all like fat or skinny or
I think I immediately
shaped.
like sidestep it, try to avoid looking directly at the mirror, and
Its edges are kind of like flames coming off it with this sort of like twisted section. It's not actually fire, but it has that flame-like writhing, and those areas are all just still more mirror, almost as if you've got like a.
it's carved to be writhing,
No.
or it is actually writhing.
It's
So this
carved.
is-
It's looked like as if it were writhing, but like a still shot of a flame. And as you come up to the side, Georg, you can see that it is paper thin. It's maybe a two-dimensional thing.
what's it attached to? Like,
Nothing. It's
It's
hovering
floating.
a foot off the ground.
So
well, this isn't normal.
yeah, Van says I've been memorizing some spells to try and discern this thing's nature, and I think Van's going to go ahead and start casting. He's going to cast no alignment on this mirror.
Okay, it returns nothing.
No
like
alignment.
as if you had
Okay.
cast it on a chair.
Sure.
Is there any stones or anything down here?
The floor is made out of stone, gray stone.
Yeah, like
Everything is
anything
gray.
like is there any like chipped stone that I could pick up?
No.
All right, I want to find like a bit of like a coin that I've got on me, like a gold piece,
Sure.
and I will toss it towards the mirror.
All right. It kind of hits the mirror and bounces back off, almost like you tossed it at a loose drum or like
Okay.
a hide stretched over a frame.
Van is going to
I
cast extra dimensional detection.
Ooh.
Ooh, what page? What's book and page number is that?
Let me grab that really fast. Extra dimensional. Tome of Magic, page 66. I can just read it for you if you want.
That's all right. I want to be able to reference it over and over again.
Sure. If it's a portal of any kind, basically, I'll know.
Detects the existence of extra-dimensional spaces or pockets in a 10-foot wide path. La la la. The priest may turn, scanning 60-degree arc each round. Extra-dimensional spaces. Okay. You do indeed detect that this is an extra-dimensional portal, but you also detect a lot of extra-dimensional space on Georg.
Okay.
A lot of
probably-
extra-dimensional space.
Sure. I don't immediately mention anything about that, but I say this mirror is some kind of portal. Georg might be too. I'm not sure.
That's just his ropes.
Oh, okay.
Very odd. Well, do you know where it goes?
No, not at all. Or there's something about that, Neal, right? I don't know anything about the nature of it, just that it's extra dimensional.
So you did confirm that it is extra dimension. Okay.
Yes, so it's something not connected to this plane is what it leads to.
All right. Well,
It's not obviously a portal like the last one, like the one we just stepped through.
It doesn't look at all like the last one. The last one was this billowing gray and purple streaks that was constantly churning and moving, and this is closer to a mirror. This is like a mirror. It's very, very different.
Wait for me here. I'll be right back. I go and leave and go back up.
Okay, it'll take you a while, but you can do that.
While he's doing that,
yeah,
Van wants to pull out his chessboard and prepare an augury spell.
Okay.
So Georg probably sees Van like setting up this chessboard.
Yeah. I think I ignore such idiosyncrasies, being a strange man myself. I just investigate the portal and whatever.
Since you are doing the shortest action, Georg, we're going to do first. Anything in particular you're doing about this?
Probably sketching it, sitting down with my notebook and sketching it and like measure. I don't know.
Okay.
Doing a thorough inspection.
But you're not doing any actions that you need information
at
from
first I'm reluctant to look into it, and then I think maybe I'll confirm with Van Helsing that he looked at it and didn't like lose his soul and the reflection. And so I'll slowly and cautiously begin documenting this magical item.
Sure.
Whatever it is. I don't know. I don't know if there's any chance of like me spellcrafting anything about it, or I mean, it's very obviously magical, right? Probably not clearly a portal. Will you give me that? Like, or if it is, it needs to be activated somehow.
Certainly sounds like a portal.
Especially from the spell that you had cast, it sounds like a portal.
Have you touched
whether
it?
it's open or not?
Has anyone touched it? Is Van able to talk or is he like casting a spell?
I'm just setting up the chessboard right now. I haven't cast it yet.
Yeah.
No one's touched it though, Georg.
Van shouts, "Unseal the Shadow Realm."
Okay. Yeah, no one's touched it yet. Do you want to touch it?
If I see him walking toward it, Van will say, "Hold on, Georg. I have a spell to make this a bit safer."
Yeah.
I'd rather not go touching strange magical objects.
Yeah, I think I'm like sitting on the floor next to it, drawing a picture of it right now. How long does Malachi take?
Malachi's going to take a while. He's got to walk 250 feet to the surface.
So Van can cast his augury if that's what he's going to do.
Van, what's your augury spell do?
I say, what will happen if I attempt to interact with this mirror?
70% plus 1% per priest casting level. You're level 8?
Yes, so 78.
Okay.
And it would be no response, I think, if it fails.
Right. Spell is successful. The DM decides some indication of the probable outcome, weal or woe, or possibly a cryptic puzzle or rhyme. What was the question? What will happen if I attempt to
What will happen if I attempt to interact with this mirror? What will happen to me specifically is what I asked, actually.
Well, let's see what Malachi's doing while I think of a good, nice,
Sure, go for it.
cool answer for that. Malachi, what are you up to?
I'm gonna look for Seth.
You can find him.
All right.
He's leading he's standing around talking to a group of maybe a dozen peasants. You notice all but 2 of them have bandages wrapped around their arms.
Seth, may I have a word for a minute?
He looks over towards you and says, "You may address us."
I'd like to apologize to you, and as a showing of good faith, there's something I'd like to show you.
Oh?
If you wouldn't mind accompanying me downstairs.
What would you like to show me?
It's kind of hard to explain. I'm sure
Where
your
is
sermon
it?
can wait. It's underneath the pyramid.
The mirror?
Yes, the mirror.
I have seen it.
Well, there's been somewhat of a discovery, and given your position in this church, I feel like you should be the one to lend your expertise.
He smiles and says, we shall accompany you. And makes a motion for his followers to get up and follow you downstairs.
All right, so I let Seth go first, and I let him go down, and then I'll turn around to the rest of them and say, "We'll call for you soon. It's best you let Seth see this first."
Okay. They wait behind.
All right, I lead Seth down the stairs.
We all know what that means.
Seth, come with me to
I'm
this spooky
surprised they
room.
go long. Yeah.
Alone, in the dark, without your
Surprised he goes
followers.
long.
So I get down there. If Van's probably heard back from his dog crew by then, but if not, or if they're still just not doing anything. Right, Seth. So yeah, it seems that this thing is a portal. It probably goes back home, but we need someone to test it out. And seeing as you're so fucking brave, I feel like you should give it a go.
Okay, let me figure out what the augury reply is.
Oh, Malachi, you genius.
This guy had it coming, man. He's obviously really brave. It's pretty brave to try and punch me.
That's true. I feel like
Yeah.
anyone who walks up to a wizard and tries to physically attack him has some balls.
The augury reply is, there is more to it than what you can feel.
Right.
So Van will say to Garrick, Van shakes the chessboard and all these pieces fall everywhere, and he starts inspecting the pieces. It landed into a perfectly played chess game with some pieces knocked off, and it ends in a checkmate. And Van just says to Georg, the reply reads, can you say it one more time, Neal?
I'm actually really unsatisfied with that reply. I'm gonna change it.
Do you want to change it?
Yeah, I'm
Okay.
totally gonna change it because that's a stupid ass reply.
Okay.
It's so vague. It's too vague.
Okay, sure. Basically, I'm going to translate it word for word to Georg. Van almost says something, then gets a bit confused as there's a piece that chipped a little bit, and he starts inspecting where it fell to see if it has a little bit of a bit more meaning to it.
Unbroken glass is always safe.
All right,
Is your
so I
reply.
say that to Georg.
Unbroken glass is always safe.
Yeah.
This is Cheese whispering in your ear.
Magic of cheese. It's a spell.
Are you so sure it's her that speaks to you down here?
It's not her speaking directly. It's a spell.
All right.
It's divination in a way. You know divination.
I think at this point I'll have ventured to touch on the portal after he says unbroken glass is always safe.
Make your saving throw versus death magic.
So you're touching it, Georg?
Yeah. I will continue my investigations to physical contact.
Touching it is cool to the touch, slightly below the ambient temperature of the ever-present room temperature air. Give a little bit of a push, and it bends, kind of like hide stretched over a frame or like a drum.
So the frame seems separate from the face of the mirror.
I mean, there's no frame around this. It's just wreathed and it's hovering in place. There's no border to it.
It literally is two-dimensional, right?
It's
So from the side, I'm
two-dimensional,
not
yeah.
able to measure any sort of thickness.
Right. Maybe
could
paper
con-
thickness
yeah.
at most, but because it's kind of hard to get perfect,
I could confirm this with my own spells at a later time, but it seems like it's two-dimensional. Based on your admittedly cryptic little
It's a
little
bit of a
trick
simple
there.
divination. It's not meant to be specific, unfortunately.
It sounds like if we are to break this mirror, things may become unsafe.
That seems like a reasonable hypothesis.
somewhere around here is when Malachi shows up with Lord Seth, who comes down and sees the two of you. And Malachi, you said something to him about going through the portal because he's the brave one.
Yep. guys figure anything out?
Unbroken glass is always safe.
Well, maybe we need to break it then. Well, where could it go? Another plane? Back home? It probably goes back home.
It
right?
may not. It could not lead to another plane, but
There could
It
very
is-
well be something.
if it travels to another place on this plane, it would also register with my spell that I cast. It is extra dimensional.
It seems almost like someone stitched together a patch here. Who knows what's sealed on the other side? But I would advise caution before opening it.
Have you
I
found
look, why?
anything
Why
on this
is? Why did you bring him here?
Well, I was going to get him to touch it.
I like. Look
You
at this
think I will
peasant.
follow your commands, strange one?
Well,
You-
I could try to break this mirror. I have a spell. If it's incredibly dangerous to do so, I have a spell that will stop me from doing so.
Well, I figured, I mean, if it's a portal and it's dangerous to break it and open it, then the problem is what might come out, right?
I'm also worried that perhaps breaking it isn't the intention.
Have you found anything in this plane that's not been sort of bad for you and trying to kill you?
I've seen things that don't give a shit about me. Nothing that wanted to help.
What I'm saying is, if everything's been put here by Malchus, then maybe we should just leave this alone.
Perhaps.
Seems unlikely
At the
that-
same
Why
time,
would you
though-
think Malchus has put anything here? He is not a god of this realm. This belongs to what you ignorantly refer to as demons. True
Van, can
saviors
I-
of man.
He says true saviors of man.
Hmm.
All right, Van's gonna walk up to this guy.
He looks at you confidently, holding his back high, shoulders back.
I punch him in the face.
Let me roll to hit.
All right,
I move myself
12.
towards the door,
You
Neal.
crack him. Sure, you
All
can
right,
get to the door.
It's
no
D3
problem.
plus 1. Takes 3 damage.
Okay. He stumbles back with the blow, spitting up blood. You see? False prophets are getting angry when they're confronted with the truth.
No, they're angry when confronted with fools. Listen to me. I don't know what those creatures are, but I can guarantee you they are evil and they are patient. They don't care about your safety. And this is merely a play to gain your trust. I'd suggest worrying less about your life and worrying more about your soul, Lord Seth.
Ooh.
Well,
I've
think
let
I have
your
seen
I've let your
enough.
cult go on for far too long as it is. Perhaps it's time the hammer is brought down on this. I don't need demon worshippers plaguing these masses.
He
I am
makes a good
sorry,
point, Seth.
cleric. You have no authority over me. You recall, your parents are what? Gone? Dead? Certainly not nobles. You were raised by the church. You're a simple stonemason.
Van slaps him. I'm not trying to do damage, but I slap him, right?
Again, he doesn't
And I
even
say-
try and dodge the block. He just takes
Yeah.
it.
I say, "Oh, your nobility. Did it save you from the blow? Perhaps you may be a noble in the prime material plane, but right here you are nothing but a fool. An arrogant fool, but a fool all the same. I'd advise you worry more about your position."
I've seen enough of this. He turns to head upstairs, but comes to face to Georg, a few steps away from you.
Yeah, I step out of the way and let him pass, but I whisper and I'm probably loud enough for the party to hear as well.
Mhm.
The power structures of the old world mean nothing to you here. Your beloved lords of chaos have shaken things up and left you high and dry. And I stand aside and let him walk down the hallway.
He heads up the
As he
stairs and
goes.
heads out of the pyramid, leaving the
Now then.
four of you, because Jeeves is here, down below.
Now then, do you know the identify spell, Malachi?
I do.
I've got some pearls with me.
As do I.
Perhaps some study of this thing is warranted.
Excuse me, my lord.
Yes, Jeeves.
Do you really think this is a portal home?
No.
I know where there is one, though, Jeeves.
Oh.
I could have Georg take you there tomorrow. Would you?
That's okay. I wouldn't
Is this one
leave
out?
you behind, my lord.
Now seems as good as a time as any. How are we going to get everyone out?
Everyone.
We can't
Jeeves,
just leave.
tell me, have you been touched by those creatures? These demons.
He hasn't. He almost got possessed, but he fought it off.
Right. They tried, my lord, but old
I
GV
told us
Weavy
well.
is too strong for them.
If you'd like, I can take some of you back. I'd say now to Van Helsing, but the whole village, the whole lot of them, it's out of the question.
Over the course of many days, could you do it?
You're asking me to transport 80 peasants.
Sure,
one
not
by
all at
one,
once.
across the boundary between the shadow plane and
I mean,
the
you
prime
teleported
material.
a tiny Malachi with you. Could you teleport people by the handful? Do it over the course of days?
I suppose, but would you really want to? If the God saw fit to curse these people,
Georg, teach me that spell to shrink them, and between the two of us, we can probably send 7 or 8 people back a day. It'll take a while, but I can. I'll make
at
sure.
no
that
risk to yourself,
How do you mean?
and all the risk to me.
I thought you were confident going back to that tower.
There's always a slight chance that something could go wrong.
Well, what do you suggest then?
That you think long and hard about what these people mean to you.
I'm going to be honest. Jeeves and Elise are the two I care most for. I don't care if she hates me forever.
Lord.
She can hate me for the rest of her days if she cares, but I want her to get out of here alive. I'd quickly sacrifice the entire lot of these peasants to save her.
Well, I think it's easy enough. We could get the 5 of us out.
I'll teach Malachi Reduce. If that should take, is it like a day or 2 to learn a spell?
Day or 2.
D2, I think, yeah.
I don't know how. Yeah, and I'm willing to make at least a
So
run with
you guys
some
are-
number of people. But
Are discussing all of this. And Jeeves is over kind of looking around, biding time as he always does. And while you're discussing the numbers of people you could get out and what time, Jeeves is up against the portal and he's kind of tapping on it like you guys were. And then he gives this is all the kind of happening in the corner of your eye. You don't really see what's going on, but you hear and you look over and see Jeeves and he's got his arm like halfway through the thing. The mirror is like bent backwards and he's pushed through it and it's starting to like close on his arm.
yeah,
He's slowly
can we
being
roll
pulled
initiative
through.
or something to grab Jeeves?
Yeah, go ahead and roll me initiative.
All right. For the group or individually?
Individual.
Okay. I imagine we're all just gonna try and like grab onto Jeeves and like pull him back together.
Ooh.
Malachi.
Malachi is quick to save Jeeves.
Yeah.
It's only right.
Okay, Malachi, you go at the same time as Jeeves.
All right, and try and pull him back.
All right, so you grab onto him. He's trying to pull himself backwards. Give me a strength check, Malachi.
Oh,
I mean, at
goody.
least this isn't like the living wall or whatever it's called, where if you touch the person being absorbed, you get absorbed too.
Do I get pulled through?
Jeeves starts pulling himself through. You start getting pulled yourself through. If you want to make me a saving throw versus death, you can try and let go of Jeeves before you were brought through to the other side. Or you can go with them.
To let go of him?
Yeah, in time.
Is it saving throw versus death as in I'm going to die, or or are you just fucking hell. Well, can I see anything through it?
No.
Is there even a through? It's just like
It's
bent,
not a
right?
through.
It
It's like he's
hasn't
pushing,
broken.
and then it's kind of pinched around his arm, and now it's sliding up his arm. But I think Malachi's hesitation to let go or not results with him being sucked through onto the other side. And
Yeah,
Jeeves
but
and
I was
there
Malachi
to, like-
slowly kind of meld, almost like putty. You know, like you can go up and go ahead and grab them, but they're just constantly being pulled through this putty-like mirror surface.
Does Malachi roll a save versus death?
No, he delayed. He thought about
Oh,
it
the
too
save versus
long
death would be to just like.
to let go in time before the
Yeah.
portal
Okay.
touched him enough to suck him through too.
And by the time myself and Van Helsing are able to react, that they've been
You see
surrounded by this
Malachi's
mirror?
legs sticking out of the back of the portal. It's tucked against his thigh.
So I'm
I-
presuming it's like too late for us to grab them and pull them out.
I mean, you can grab his foot, maybe.
Yeah. Can I?
What do you do?
Yeah.
He's down to his calf now.
Yeah. Can I? Yeah. I'll grab a foot and
Down
give
to
it a
an ankle.
tug. I'm gonna grab his foot and give it a tug.
Yeah,
and
I
see
mean, if
he's
he's doing
like,
it, I'll grab
if there's like
Georg
a
and like pull
strength
on
check
Georg
we
as
can
he
use
pulls
to yank
Malachi.
him out or something.
Give me a strength check, Georg, and Van Helsing's aiding you, so give it a +2.
Should I roll it since I'm like
But
pulling the man who's-
Georg's the one grabbing his foot, and you're grabbing Georg, so Georg's
fine.
trying, you're assisting.
Yeah.
Go for it, Giggs.
A 10. Oh,
Is that including
no.
the +2 from Van
Oh,
Helsing?
not including my strength is 10. So with Van Helsing's +2,
It's a
with the two of us
22.
are able to pass. Are we able to pull
You
him back,
hold on
or-
tight, and the foot slips through your hands, and you're left with one of Malachi's boots.
I look to Van Helsing.
I think it might be time for us to go through this portal, Georg.
Well, shit.
Tell me.
Hardcore heroes, other side.
Do you think we have a few minutes? We could go grab Mother Elise.
Do we have 24 hours? I'm rubbing my head furiously. What's Mother Elise gonna do?
She has some spells. She might be able to help.
You mean bring her with?
Yes. Why not?
So your friends have been sucked through a portal, and you guys are talking about going upstairs.
Very quickly. Like, this is a fast conversation.
Yeah.
What do you do?
I have like Malachi. It never broke. It just like swallowed them up.
It bent and then kind of collapsed around them.
And now you look
Now
at
it's
the
just kind of like
backside
a
it,
slightly
and-
wobbling portal. By the way, I'm counting the rounds while you make your decisions.
Fuck. Do you want to just go through, Georg? That's a yes. Tally ho! And he grabs onto Georg and just like starts pushing into this mirror.
I think I'll make a half-hearted strength check, opposed strength check, but yeah.
Go ahead, make your post strength
So
checks.
12. I think
no,
I'm-
it's not happening.
unless Neal
I
rolls a
could
1, I
roll a
think
one.
we. I think.
Oh, so
I do.
Van fails his strength check as well. So I guess Van's
So I-
pushing. Garrett kind of resists, and Van like slips on the side and just tumbles in himself.
Wait. But I did beat his.
You did, but you both failed.
Okay, but like I did like wrap an arm around him, and I was like, just
Sure.
bringing it. How would
So I guess
pull
you're
him
holding
front?
on to him. You didn't get to pull him in with you, but you're holding on to him while you're coming in through the portal.
Georg?
Garrett, are you going to
yeah.
continue to resist, or are you going through?
It's too late to turn back now.
Yeah, we go into the portal. We go into the portal.
We'll see you guys on the other side of our break.